Well, I was thinking we could go out on Saturday night. Wear something to make the other guys jealous.
So who was that, Ernie? You want to go with me, Dad?
But I don't think that's my kind of party.
You had a genius kid, and you're no PhD.
Found a second sample on the victim. Some guy we arrested for vagrancy 18 months ago. Daniel Bowen.
You locate him?
Self-admit local bar.
You were like a strong African-American father on television.
That was on purpose.
Okay.
And the writers of Smart Guy, they were very open to my concern. Okay. Most of the scripts came back without the dad being a bumbling fool. But periodically one would come in and I would go back and I would have a sit down with him. And so it was a very collaborative effort in making sure that this African-American father would be somebody that people could look up to.
Because people are going to say things that piss you off. They're going to say things that insult you. And you're going to have to be able to handle that and handle it in such a way that you keep your professional relationships intact.
Y'all won't believe what just happened. News flash. John Marshall Jones dropped a shocking revelation that took the world by storm. If you ever watched an episode of the series Smart Guy,
Daddy sent us a kid. On the ball, very clever.
You would remember Henderson as the handsome young actor who stole our hearts while playing the role of Floyd Henderson.
Now, if I don't see some improvement in your grades, things are going to get ugly around here. And I'm talking about Grandma getting out the tub ugly.
It's been ages since Smart Guy wrapped up, but it's looking like Jones is embracing the spotlight once again. And this time, he's sharing the nitty-gritty details on his life. You think you know him from his calm, collected father figure days? Think again. Marshall Jones has definitely come a long way from his Smart Guy days.
Shut up. You shut up.
Hey, we don't say shut up in this family.
Hey, but Dad.
Hey, hush up.
But he remains as witty as ever. Now, most people would see Jones and assume that his life was handed down to him, but this couldn't be any further from the truth. Before his rise to fame, John Marshall Jones was an ordinary kid from Detroit who had dreams of making it big in football. And if we're being honest, he was actually pretty good. But unfortunately, fate had other things planned out.
And at a certain point, I just felt like, you know, I have to go out and run with the big boys. Mm-hmm. And I have to see if I'm good enough to do it. And if I'm not, I need to know early so I can figure out something else that I'm good enough to do.
John Marshall Jones, born on August 17th, 1962, in Detroit, Michigan, was always destined for greatness. Growing up, he showed a natural flair for acting, and by the time he hit high school, he was already involved in theater.
I was born in Detroit.
Oh, okay.
But grew my chest hair in Chicago. Mm-hmm. Graduated with a BA in theater.
Mm-hmm.
But did you know that acting wasn't always his first dream? Rumor has it, in his younger days, he wanted to pursue a career in sports. Yep. Before he ever stepped in front of a camera, he was a football fanatic. And by all accounts, he was quite good. But fate had other things in stock for him. While Jones has always had a God-given talent in acting, it wasn't until he went to Northwestern University that he developed the passion for it.
I'm a graduate of Northwestern University's theater department.
However, Jones would later reveal that his sister might have had a key role to play in his sudden interest.
You said your sister got you into that, so explain a little bit more what you mean by that.
When we were kids, my sister really loved musicals. And so she would get the album, the 33 of a whole musical. And, you know, she'd get me to learn the songs with her so that we could perform the musicals. And I kind of liked it, I guess.
Jones studied theater arts and eventually landed small roles here and there. But it wasn't until 1997 that his big break came with Smart Guy.
No, is he in some sort of trouble?
Why would you think that?
The two white guys show up in my door in FBI suits? What am I supposed to think?
As Floyd Henderson, Jones became the ultimate TV dad, caring for his genius son, TJ, and his two older children, Marcus and Yvette. He embodied the role of a wholesome, all-American father.
Sometimes it takes a little luck and a little work.
So it really wasn't my fault.
No, it wasn't your fault.
But behind the scenes, his life was anything but calm. As with any actor, Jones also has a story to tell. In Hollywood circles, there has been a whispered tale about him for quite some time. Prior to gaining his big break, Jones encountered several encounters with the gossip mill of Hollywood. During his early 20s, he was involved in a scandal that revolved around wild parties in Hollywood.
He recalls what he saw at the party.
So I remember marijuana and topless women. That's the two main things that I remember.
Before the widespread use of social media revealed everyone's secrets, it was easier for celebrities to conceal their indiscretions. However, those who were present at the time can attest that Jones was not the reserved and upright individual portrayed on television. Jones was known for his partying skills. Jones was rumored for having wild nights at clubs, running into law enforcement, and even having questionable relationships, but none of this ever made it to the tabloids because he was so good at keeping his private life private. At least, until now.
I used to live right across the street from Zany's nightclub. So I was in there with, with a very colorful room full of characters.
When Smart Guy hit the airwaves, Jones was catapulted into stardom. Suddenly, Jones was not just the guy from small, forgettable roles. He became a household name. But fame comes with scrutiny, and Jones wasn't exempt. While he played the perfect dad on screen, it became increasingly difficult for him to maintain that image in real life. There have been whispers that behind the scenes, things were not as harmonious as they appeared. Some sources suggest that Jonas struggled with the pressure of constantly being under the spotlight, especially with his reputation as a perfect father to maintain.
Thanks, Dad.
There have even been discussions about Jones having a short temper, which did not always go over well with his fellow actors and crew members. An interesting tidbit making the rounds is that during filming for Smart Guy, Jones had a heated disagreement with one of the directors. According to reliable insiders, voices were raised and tensions ran high on set. However, Jones, being the seasoned pro he is, quickly diffused the situation. Till this moment, Jones still sees the moment he got his first acting gig as nothing short of a miracle, and it's definitely helped him in keeping his head up high over the years.
A manager from the place says, "Hey, JJ, you got an incoming call." "Who is it?" "It's my agent." It's like, "Hey, you just got booked in that movie with John Cusack." Right?
Wow.
So I was like, "Okay, I'll do it." I slammed the phone down. I jumped up. I said, "Oh, yeah." Everybody said, "How much?" I said, "I just got a movie. I'm going to Hollywood."
After Smart Guy ended in 1999, Jones continued to act, but his career never quite hit the same high. Jones has addressed this on multiple occasions, as he revealed that was hard trying to get leading man roles after starring in Smart Guy. And it didn't matter how good he acted, but people just didn't see him as a lead actor.
Unlike the bigger stars who get offered stuff all the time, I'm very rarely offered a role. I have to audition for every role that I have.
And that's when the whispers started again. Hollywood insiders were buzzing with rumors about his personal life, claiming that the pressure of maintaining his squeaky clean image was starting to unravel.
The difficulties are in personality because, actors by and large are very self-absorbed.
But it didn't stop there. In 2015, Jones made headlines again, this time for a run-in with the law. Jones was involved in a scandal in the early 2000s that rocked his fans. Those close to the situation say he was involved in a messy legal battle with an ex-girlfriend, but the details remain unclear. Fans couldn't help but wonder what really was going on behind the scenes, even though Jones kept a low profile and never addressed the situation publicly. Still, the press had a field day with the story. I'm glad Jones is in a much better place with more than enough roles to keep him busy. And I can't help but hope that things continue to stay this way. In addition to his cameos in Good Morning Vietnam with Robin Williams,
Good morning, Vietnam!
White Men Can't Jump with Woody Harrelson and Wesley Snipes.
Sydney, I noticed that wind was kicking up a bit on my last shot. You might want to just about 6-8 inches to the left.
And Melrose Place and Smart Guy. Jones played the father of a boy genius on Smart Guy, in which names such as Taj Mowry, Jason Weaver, Omar Gooding, and Essence Atkins appeared.
I see you met my son Marcus and his associate Mo, and they got a little project going here for school.
Even to this day, he is still asked about that role.
Ended up being the first ever African-American genius on television. He represented African-American stable family structure. It represented African-American entrepreneurship.
During an interview with DJ Sixsmith of CBS Local, Jones reflected on the prevailing depiction of black fathers as deadbeat daddies during that time period. He expressed gratitude for the opportunity to portray the first ever black genius on television, with a caring and devoted father figure who kept his family united. Little did they know at the time, this had a profound impact on many viewers. Jones shared that even now, during his travels, he often encounters men in their 30s and 40s who tell him, "You were the dad I wished I had," because they grew up without a father in their household.
Young men and women come up to me and say, hey, listen, I want you to know you were the dad I didn't have at home, and I used to look forward to spending that time with you every week. And literally every day, somebody stops me and tells me the exact same thing. So in terms of the generational impact, I think that Smart Guy is something that I'll be proud of for the rest of my life.
Jones said he was even recognized for his role of Floyd Henderson when he went to the Cannes Film Festival in France. While the actor has been in many movies and TV shows, he learned one of the important lessons of his career in Good Morning Vietnam when he watched Williams do his thing.
Thank you, Bob. Can we play anything for you? Anything! Just play it loud, okay?
At 62, John Marshall Jones has finally admitted it's the moment you've been waiting for. He opened up in a candid interview about how playing the role of the perfect dad affected his personal life. While he was at his height of fame, he struggled to balance his personal life with his on-screen persona. "I was never the perfect dad in real life," he admitted. "I tried to live up to that image, but it wasn't always easy. People expected me to be this calm, collected guy all the time, but I'm human. I've made mistakes." Jones also confessed that the fame got to him at times, leading him down a path of poor decisions, including those wild parties and legal issues we talked about earlier. He didn't shy away from discussing his past scandals, acknowledging that he wasn't always proud of his actions, but that he'd worked hard to grow from them. "I'm not that guy anymore," he said. "I've learned a lot over the years, and I'm just grateful that I had the chance to redeem myself." So, what's next for John Marshall Jones? Well, after all the ups and downs, at 62, it seems like he's finally found some peace. These days, he's focused on smaller projects, mentoring young actors, and enjoying a quieter life out of the spotlight. He may not be the perfect dad in real life, but he's certainly learned from his past and is ready to embrace the future with a fresh perspective. John Marshall Jones now has an impressive net worth of approximately $2 million. And boy, do I have to say, that's definitely a far cry from being the broke kid who lived from hand to mouth in Detroit. And there you have it. The real story behind the man who played one of Hollywood's most iconic dads. John Marshall Jones may have had his share of scandals, but he's finally come clean. And it looks like the secret to being a great dad doesn't necessarily have anything to do with being Mr. Perfect and uptight. But as long as we're there for the people we care about, to guide thee and tove them, then what more could a family need?
So I heard that you ran into your neighbor's house that was burning and you saved their lives. What happened?
For some reason, I was up very, very early, so it's probably 5:30 in the morning, and was watching television, and I heard this kind of rumbling sound in the background, and I thought I heard maybe like a scream. And so I ran out, looked out, and there were actually two fires. Their car was on fire, and the front porch of their house, the mat and the door and everything going up to the roof over the porch was ablaze. So I ran, grabbed the phone, called 911, threw my shoes on, ran out, and their hose was out front. So I turned that on and started putting out the fire on the porch.
We often assume that our favorite Hollywood heroes have to be perfect all year round, but literally, everyone knows how impossible it is. What was your favorite moment from the Smart Guy series? And what are your thoughts on Marshall Jones? Life after fame. And what's the most puzzling fact that you've ever known about the actor? Let us know in the comment section below. In the meantime, don't forget to check out our channel for more engaging videos like this.